Business as usual. This is Comic Burrito. A live stream. I'm Todd.
I'm Nick.
Cole's not here.
No. Cole's second day after shot.
He's second day dead.
So we're not expecting. He might pop in. He
could be passed out right now and then be like, wake up, Black Cotton, and then for some reason yell that out.
He might show up just sweating, and just drenched in sweat, delirious. So it'll be like normal Cole
offline.
Yes. He's somehow on a Twitch stream talking about Black Cotton.
He starts a Burrito channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi everybody. What's up, Nick Comic Culture?
Hey Nick.
Hi Trevor. Sam the King. How you doing? Hey Film Noir / Terra. How you doing? To Steve.
Hi Steve.
Good evening. Kane Paul. What's up? Justin Birch running. Classic. Tell the two brothers we say hi.
Just one of the brothers.
Yeah, just tell one of the two brothers. Tell the other one second. And then, hey, what's up, Andrew? And Tyler. Tyler sucks. Hashtag Tyler sucks. And DJ Links. What's up, man? And Gary B. What's up, all?
Everybody's here.
My goodness. How you feeling? Someone else got a second dose.
I got my second dose this morning at like 11 o'clock this morning, and my arm is like, it's rough, which is what the first one did too, but this one's already worse compared to the first one.
From your workout, right?
You're a big body guy. I did about 2 hours on the rowing machine this afternoon.
Oh yeah, you're a big rowing machine guy?
Yeah. Big, what do they call? No, there's a name.
Rower?
No, but isn't there a name for rowers? For
row?
There's a name for it. That's weird,
sure
but
there's a name for
there
it.
is. Yeah, but no, it's otherwise I feel okay. I've been like drinking. I'll probably need a pee break before you because I've just been downing water.
You've been drinking like water like me then.
Like. Maybe, I don't know, maybe more. I have no idea. I've just been constantly just drinking water all day.
Don't get cocky, kid.
And I was like prepping for it all week because that's like the first thing anybody that's gotten their second dose has told me has been like, make sure you're hydrated. So it's like, since Monday, I've been like, I'm going to hydrate all week.
And then you finally did it today.
I can't believe I didn't end up in the hospital today from having way too much water. Crew. That's like the club, but I think they're like you would join crew, but I think I'll Google it.
Oh, you're gonna Google it like a wuss?
Yeah.
Jeez. Disappointing.
I'm just gonna Google rowing person name.
Rowing person.
Oh. See, I knew it was a weird name. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it because
a coxswain.
Coxswain.
I don't think we can say that on YouTube.
Or simply, the cox is a member who sits in the boat facing the bow, steers the boat, and coordinates the power and rhythm of the rowers.
That's not even a person. That's the person going, row. You're not even talking about the guy who's rowing. That person that you're describing does not row.
An oarsman is a man who rows.
There you go. An oarsman.
So that's your thing. That's your thing everyone learned today.
I need to make a more you know, and like the more you know, but the star is a burrito graphic.
Yes. Yeah, it's just a burrito just spilling ingredients as it goes across the.
That's too much work for this program.
But you'll end up doing it. It'll be like 3 weeks from now, and you'll be like, I spent 37 hours on this.
I spent 45 minutes on our intro, but I'll spend 17 hours on that.
So. But yeah, no, feeling good so far. Ask me tomorrow, I guess, because second day seems to be the day.
Yeah. Cool. But, so,
how are you doing?
Cole. Oh, I'm doing fine. I mean, you know, I am fully immunized officially on that. Vax talk with the Burrito Boys.
Vax and rowing talk.
Yeah, you know, our specialties.
Mhm.
So no, I'm doing good. You know, it's weird not having Cole. I feel like we should have someone else on. It would be even better if we could have like 2 more people on.
We could do that.
But that would be crazy. I don't know how we could arrange that.
Tyler, you want to come on the show, or
Yeah, let's see. Is somebody else? Anybody from the comments? You know, Oh, hey, how about we talk to Brian Hawkins and Patrick Foreman?
Oh, hey guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
Why not?
Seems like a good idea. So,
y'all must randomly picked us.
Yeah.
what's the audience?
Just stopping by the neighborhood.
So,
Yeah.
you guys are responsible for this amazingness from Scout Comics, Black Cotton.
God,
I
it's
I
like
know all of our regulars have heard us talk about this
Mhm.
quite a bit, so they should all be familiar. But for those that aren't, do you want to give the unknowns like a synopsis of what it's about?
God. Yeah. All right. So Black Cotton is set in an alternate reality where the social order of white and black is reversed. And it's about an elitist family, the Cottons, who their police officer's son, Zion, who is like the wayward son, the wayward child, the black sheep of the family, quote unquote. He is not up with the Cottons and their 1%ness. And so he is a police officer, and he tragically shoots a white minority woman. And that kind of launches the racial tension within the city, but also the fragile social climate that already exists in that world. Black Cotton.
So I know it's quite a stretch of an idea, but it's terrible. But where did that come from? Because obviously, like, the themes are very much set in reality with a twist. What brought about the twist? When you were deciding to write this, did the twist come first? Did the social injustice twist come first? Social injustice theme come first, or the twist come first?
I would say it sort of came all at the same time or simultaneously because they run parallel with us. So the ideal is this. When you watch a lot of movies, what you see is the director or the premise is they're trying to develop empathy in the audience. They want the audience to develop some type of empathy with the story. And then it's like, okay, through that empathy, they're trying to invoke a change in the individuals. And what we see is that if I'm watching a movie and the perception that I'm watching it in and the feet that I'm walking in is the same feet that I normally walk in, then it's hard for me to actually develop that empathy for the other characters, that you're trying to invoke. So what we did is we said, okay, how can we create a safe environment where an individual can read something, can see something, but not feel attacked? They can actually go through, walking through somebody else's shoes in a safe way, and also challenge their perception. Because a lot of times I tell you inside the comic book, for instance, the first time an individual sees White Lives Matter, and they're like, oh snap, White Lives Matter. And then they're like, well, hold up. I see Black Lives Matter. So why do I have a problem with Black Lives Matter so now you have to have that discussion with yourself. And that's what we mean about a safe environment, because we don't want people to feel attacked. We just want people to actually develop empathy and also learn a little bit more about other perceptions and other cultures, so that afterwards, guess what? Just like we're doing right now, we can have a conversation about it and nobody's offended. We actually develop more respect for each other. And that's basically where it came from.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I love it. That ties into one of the questions I was going to ask, because there is one of my favorite things over the last few years has been VR, virtual reality. And they found putting people into other people's shoes while in virtual reality increased their empathy. There was white males were put into a virtual reality of being a black female. And afterwards, for weeks afterwards, their empathy for the group was up like a noticeable amount because of just putting on these goggles, and they're experiencing, just even though it was just doing normal things around like go shopping and nothing like extreme, it still instilled empathy just by getting into the shoes and all that. So I love that because that's perfect. That's wonderful. I love that.
That's cool.
Absolutely. Well said, Pat.
Hey, appreciate it, bro. I'll tell you this, too. Me and Brian go through the same thing. As we're writing this, it is everything that people are going through when they read it and experience. Me and Brian have already done it 10 times over, and we've done it in deep conversations. I mean, because we really, we make a conscious effort to remove our implicit bias from the story, from the write-up and everything. We don't want us to get into the story and mess it all up and mess up the experience. So even when we're writing and when we're going over the concepts and everything, I'll tell you this, one of the conversations that me and Brian had just last week was on martial arts and Asians, and I was like, hey, they should know martial arts, it's gonna be real cool. And he was like, so because they're Asian, they should know martial arts. And and I was like, oh snap, So we had a whole deep conversation, and we have to recognize when we do stuff like that, when we're just putting something on a culture that really, it shouldn't be. It's just something, a perception that we developed and that we put on people. So we're trying to, just let people go through that same type of experience that we've been doing and grow.
Yeah. So you're basically trying to identify common stereotypes and discover why we might have them, and kind of flip the script a little bit so that people can see it from a new light and hopefully grow from that.
Spot on.
Yeah.
And it digs into one of my favorite things to talk about is the human condition. And at the end of the day, we experience it through our societal lens, through our culture, through our heritage, through the environment that we're in. And there are specific circumstances and events that really stand out and allow us to feel and to understand what it is to be human. And it's one of the things that I feel like Shakespeare was really good at, where he's drawing on the human condition and he's dealing with that environment, that time, in the social climate of that time to draw out who we are. And like we've had so many discussions about just throwing up that mirror in front of us, and allowing all of us to see who we are. That's one of the best things about storytelling. We might not consciously want it to happen, but on some level we want to see us. We want to see ourselves. We want to grow. We want to learn. We want to experience, even if it's rough on us. And that's why people, they read comics, they go to the movies. There's a lot of talk about escapism, and I'm escaping out from it, but you're not really escaping, because what you're doing, you're still jumping into a story, and the story just represents life, and that character is going through obstacles, which represents the problems that's in life anyway. You're just seeing life just through a different lens, and it does something to you.
Mm-hmm. It for sure does. They've done. Man, I'm just gonna go with a bunch of science studies that tie into this somehow. They've done studies where people recall, especially stories that they're really intimate with, even though they're not their own stories. It will light up the same memories, spots in our brain where we have personal memories. So it's like the stories. I play D&D, and people are like, "Well, it's fake," and all those things. But it's like, I get it's fake, but in my brain, those things happen and it's real. Comic books, when you're reading it. Yeah, it's fake, but like you're not really escaping, you are becoming. And those are very different things.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way back, I used to play D&D, but I really got into Magic the Gathering. And you're absolutely right, because when you're making a deck and when you're playing, it's almost like you have to become,
Oh yeah, when you throw down Fireball, you're like, I'm throwing down Fireball, and I'm wow, I am doing that.
Yeah,
these cards are a facsimile of me destroying you. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Speaking of, there's talk in the chat of not having these, which this one I don't know if I can help you with, but. The ash can is very cool. I'm glad that I have it. Don't have exact details. It will at least be number 1, which there's a second printing coming out.
Yes, on 28th.
28th, yeah.
28th.
So Scout is giving away a comic set, which we should have followed up more on specifically what that means, but I'm going to assume a comic set at least has a number 1. You get 3.
It's just 3 and 5. It's just
so we're gonna give that away at some point before the guys go. So make sure to stay tuned, and we'll have a thing at some point, and we'll give this away. So for those wondering, and also we have a Devil's Dominion 1 and 2. So maybe a little bit after that, we'll be giving those away. So stick around, everybody.
That's good.
That's pretty good, because you can't find those two, because they're all they're sold out. I mean, they were hard to get. The blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're getting ours like a week late usually, but they're coming, and it's just like, oh, thank you. There was number 2 I almost missed because they forgot to set it aside and they put it up on the shelf, but I saw it and it was like,
oh wow,
grab it.
That's cool. Give me that.
So one of my favorite things about Black Cotton too is it's not just about racial inequality. It's very much a book about classes as well.
Yes.
I'm assuming that was obviously a conscious decision. I really appreciate how much this book is so much of the time. Like right now, it's breathing 2021 and 2020 and the last few years. It's fantastic to the point where you brought it up when it shows white lives matter. I got pissed for a second. I'm like, yeah. Alternate reality. That's the one that's supposed to be there. Got it. Okay. The whole thing. It's like, what the heck? Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay. I forgot where I was for a second.
Yeah. I need to get in this more. Could you talk more on adding that layer into it as well? Because because
I think the book would have been fine with just the one of the two things. So you guys like jammed it pack. It's like just as I'm starting to think about one thing, it's like, oh, and here's another thing to maybe think about.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so like it's in the log line, right? Where set in alternate reality where the social order of white and black is reversed. And so what we are and what we're trying to do, what we have been trying to do with the story, is really white and black is a social construct. And because at the end of the day, I'm not black, I'm actually like brown, and you're not white. So those are ideas.
Todd's close.
Todd's
close.
We understand. We understand the concept.
Like the front of his hat is actually white. So
it's not quite the same. No,
it's not quite the same. So those are social constructs that we have formed into this ideology of race and who we are as human beings and people. So what we wanted to look at first was what does that mean? We identify through those social constructs, and that becomes who we are. And so that construct is really based off of the only color that really matters, which is green. In how the working class, the 1% or whatever you want to call them. Even going back to the idea of slavery, that's free labor. And so you then pitch an idea of devaluing another group to a certain middle class, a lower class, to justify why the free labor should happen. And then that explodes into this idea of and then the manifestation of racism. So what we want to do is really look at what white and black is, which is a social construct, and how that social construct plays out in a world that's absent of slavery. And that's one of the big things with Black Cotton, is that there wasn't a point where black people had slaves instead of white people. This universe is based off of the idea that Africans immigrated here first, and this was the product. And so oppression and class and etc., all these things that can become ills of humanity still happens, because slavery isn't the root of it. It's a problem within the human condition that causes this. Slavery is an extension of it. So we're showing a world without slavery, still at odds with itself.
Right. And we, that's another way that we're taking a step in challenging people's perception, because even within our race, there is a good number of people that will hold on to that one thing and say, this is why we're the way we are. And I'm not saying that, slavery didn't have an effect. Slavery definitely had an effect, 10 times over of why we're the way and at the point of where we are right now. But the question is this: if you remove slavery from the history, could America still get to the same point that it is today without it? And that's the piece that we're challenging people. We're saying, you know what? We think it could. We think that everything we're dealing with right now, without slavery, you still could have got to that same point, just in a different way. And it's all about perception, because once you look at it through those lenses, then you start to say, okay, then what can I do? If I could get to this same point, then that means I have to really look deeper and look at the actions that I'm doing and how can I change it so that the future is also changed.
I like that.
Yeah,
it almost
great.
Puts it as like it's almost like putting it off as or canceling it as an excuse, as like it's this way because we had that, and then it kind of turns it onto you too that this is a problem that is solvable because it's not rooted in the past, which we can't change, but it's heading towards our future, which we have complete control over. So it's a different perspective for sure.
You hit it right on on the button. It is a solvable issue.
Yeah.
But it's that social construct that will keep the larger problem from occurring, which is one of the first things that I said about the book. And one of my favorite things is it shows that there isn't white versus black. There isn't white and black. It is the biggest issue is haves versus have-nots. It is the people who use the systems that are in place to keep people, because what's $7.25 an hour to a billionaire? It may as well be free labor.
Correct.
It's not. It's still there. It's just it's minimized as much as possible, and that's really what keeps people down. Except when you start fighting with each other, you don't notice the bigger problem over there.
Mm.
And you'll see that you're actually brothers in arms instead of brothers at arms.
I mean, we could really go into a whole, and we're probably going to touch on it in volume 3. But just look at our voting system. I mean, and I won't even jump into it, but I'll just put that out to the atmosphere, and to the audience. Look at the voting system. It's crazy, and it's done that way for a reason.
All playing. What was that?
It's Jared Lujan saying he's
Jared?
surprised you could come on since you're writing 10,000 books.
Man.
We love Jared too.
What he's doing in the background.
Yeah.
I think that's another reason why the world has been really gravitating toward black cotton and accepting it. One, we're not trying to preach to anybody. We're not trying to bash anybody in the head. And above all, it's a great story. That's the one thing that I keep telling people, hey, it's thought-provoking, but guess what? It's also a great story. and the thing that me and Brian can't wait for is the world to catch up to us, because we know what's coming.
Right.
And it's like, oh man.
We were lucky enough. Nick's been down and out today, so I don't think he got a chance to check it out, but I got the chance to read number 2 today.
Oh no, yeah, I did not see that yet.
I'm already like, the only problem with these kind of things within just books I love, I'm like, okay, where's number 3? Dang it, I'm still having to actually wait for number 2.
The curse of early review copies is that you have to wait even longer for that next one sometimes.
But it's great, and it keeps down that same theme that draws. I mean, I'm definitely hooked, and it's one of those books that I want in as many people's hands as possible, especially people like. It's throwing it into my people is throwing it slightly into a vacuum. They'll still enjoy it and everything, but they won't get as much out of it because they're already there to a degree and all of that, which I still appreciate. And you still need to be reminded, and there's always more you can learn and empathize and all of that. But I really want this to be something that shows up in like schools and studied and used as like thought experiments more often, because I feel like it can be a tool for the world too, not just something to enjoy.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Really,
Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean
Thank you.
Yeah, that's spot on. Yeah, that truly means a lot.
Me and Brian, we actually got to do a book club. It was middle school and high school kids. It was like 80 people with their parents on the
that's cool.
On the Zoom call. It was crazy, and the parents were asking us questions. It was phenomenal, and you're spot on, right? That's what we want. We want the young to actually take a look at it and start developing that change at an early age, so that the earlier the better. And then as they go into their future, well, now they'll have a better relationship wherever they go. So it was a beautiful thing. And Brian, he has the teacher's heart. I mean, he was a teacher for years, so that's that's just what he does. I was a Marine, retired Marine, 26 years. So, that was, I was, in the military, traveling and doing stuff.
Hey, I mean, because of you and so many people like you, I'm able to teach and to have the comforts and to have the opportunities. So we all play our parts to make the whole thing work. So yeah.
It takes a village.
Yeah. Exactly.
It often does, especially in comics. It seems it definitely does. It's all about the team and everybody involved.
And
Absolutely.
if you guys
they honestly seem like something that like comics almost shouldn't like exist or be able to, because so many things have to come together in such a perfect way that it seems almost impossible.
No, you're absolutely right. And I'm glad you said that, because this story hinges upon Marco and the rest of the team bringing it to life. And like, it's such a collaboration, and we're a tight, diverse group, and Marco and what he's been able to the magic that he has been able to establish and bring into existence with Black Cotton has just been phenomenal. So I mean, it's that's him. That's Marco.
Yeah, Marco Perugini.
Storytelling.
We haven't touched on the fact that the book is in black and white,
which is interesting.
which is very interesting, and it was almost a complaint of mine when I was maybe a third of the way through. I found myself having trouble being able to identify who was what race, and it bothered me a little bit at first, and then it was like, well, maybe that's kind of the point. Like, good. It was like, So it ended up being like, because I'm like, I kind of wish this wasn't in black and white. Maybe it would be more striking visually to have that role reversal done, right? But then the fact that everything kind of blends in together, and you stop kind of seeing it as much, it's quite powerful.
It then becomes about the characters instead of their race, and you have to keep track of who's who, and then you're like, those aren't the black people who are up high, those are the Cottons.
Right.
They're the ones just doing their thing, and then there's the other people.
It's
spot on.
It's spot on, exactly. And I'm so glad you actually brought that up, Nick, because we always say it's so funny, a subject that is so rooted in color, and we took color out of it.
That's awesome.
But it was me and Brian, we were on the same page from the beginning. It was almost unsaid. And then Brian was like, what do you think about black and white? I was like, I was thinking the same thing, And the reason why we did that is because we really wanted people, just like you said, Todd, to focus more on the characters, the words that are being said, and the expressions that Marco is putting on these individuals. And within our race, there's something that we do unconsciously. And I say our race simply because, I'm a black person, so I can really only speak for, the experiences that I've been through. So we take notice to color. Subconsciously, we do it. It's not something that we, are set out like when we, start reading and looking. But if it's a black person, then the question is, well, why are they that dark? Or why didn't they make them, look like, and before you know it, you done went into this rabbit hole, and you done forgot the words that are being said, you lost focus. So by removing it, you stay focused, you stay locked on. And it's like, whoa, you are really in tune with the expressions and you notice more, especially with the words that we use, because especially in issue number 2, you're gonna be like, holy cow, what did he say? I'll tell you something real funny real quick, and I'm gonna shut up. So Brian, I'll say this, this first time I'm gonna say this on live, but Brian's vocab is several degrees higher than mine. So we'll be having conversations or we'll be typing, and while he's talking or typing, I'm looking the word up, So I'll look the word up and I'll ask him a question, and he'll come back with like, well, it means this, and I'm like, yeah, I that's what I figured,
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, here we go. The docu-series.
Well, it's hilarious. It is. Yeah. We really want people to focus on those 2 things, definitely, because we think it also adds to the experience of when you're reading Black Cotton. It's going to give you a deeper understanding, because in our everyday lives, what is it? 70% is really communication is nonverbal. Mm-hmm. It's what we, what people are not saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. We both did retail, and you get a good sense as soon as like someone walks in, you're like, you basically judge them almost immediately, because you're like, you're going to be trouble.
Usually very correctly. You can tell sometimes just by the way they get out of their car and they're walking over to the building. It's like, oh, here we go.
You
just know.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna not sell anything, and I'm gonna show them like 20 things.
Almost always right.
It's huge, and it's amazing what can be put through if you can just show it instead of tell it, and that's a big thing. I should have reread number 1, but I think a new storyline is developing in number 2 that I'm really excited about, and I can't wait to talk about it. Could you talk about how you came up with the family dynamic for Black Cottons? Because it's obviously like a patriarchal like system that they have going on that's well established. They have like the head honcho, but then everyone kind of has their way to seemingly game the system or play it, and they're always seemingly playing games with each other, which is super interesting. I love that.
They have their own sort of identity.
Yeah.
And we're definitely, we want people to understand those characters to a greater degree. And as we get to 3 and 4, you're gonna even learn more and more about each character. But Brian, go ahead, Brian. Break down a little, on the characters.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing with, and we've been like really itching for issue 2 to come out, because with issue 1, with the shooting, like we start with the shooting, and everyone understands what that means, like that event, how it connects to our real world. But when you move to issue 2, you begin to realize that the story isn't just about the shooting.
Right.
That is an event that has happened to the Cottons, and to the Nightingales, and to that city, and it's a microcosm of the larger whole of that BCU, that Black Cotton universe. And so what begins to happen in issue 2 is you find out a little bit more about Elijah and his ideology, his connection with his wife, like how they interact, their relationship to a certain level. You get to see Zion. He actually goes back into his police station headquarters, and we get to see their response to what has happened, his interaction with Kia, his sister, and then we even go into like Xavier, the younger brother, who, for all practical purposes in issue 1, you can almost miss him because he's just with the mom on the phone, and it's like but you begin to see like oh, he's he has a certain thing going on that's going to tie into the story as well on a different spectrum. So what Black Cotton becomes in issue 2 and 3 is just expanding out what that universe is expanding out who the Cottons are. It's expanding out who the Nightingales are, because in issue 2 as well, you get to see Elizabeth, who didn't die. She was shot. She's a survivor, and so now here's a whole different dynamic. We have a police shooting, an officer-involved shooting, and you have a survivor and her family and what they're going through and what's going to happen with them. Because now you have the have and the have-nots. How does this play out? So you get a larger scale, different perceptions, and at the center of it, I would say it's this family structure, this elitist family, and how they are juxtaposed with the rest of the world.
And I think the beauty is, as you're going through learning more about the characters, people are starting to go to that area where I like Zion, or I like, Elizabeth. And the problem is and it's going to click with everybody. You're going to be like, hold up. Well, in this world, technically, I relate to the Nightingales, who are the white women. Then other people are going to be like, I relate with the Cottons, but and now you have to deal with that.
But the Cottons seem to be in the wait a second.
Wait a minute.
You got me.
Yeah, that's it right there.
And then there's one Cotton in particular now that I'm like super stoked on after number 2. And it's super interesting because I'm just like, oh, this is so good. It's so good. I love it. I'm so excited. I'm
gonna take a guess that it was likely Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
I thought so.
Yep. It's like,
I thought so.
That's cool. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. He's the sleeper, and There's several.
That was not a character. I had to be like, oh wait, oh yeah, didn't do much. Now,
nope.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Spot on, man. Spot on. He's the sleeper.
Yeah. Win number 1 soon if you haven't gotten it, and then get 2, because oh my goodness, it's great. Also, if you really can't get a hold of it, Scout has it in their web store for digital too. If you really can't find it, you can get the digital and then grab the trade, because this is gotta go to a trade. It has to.
Oh.
It's like,
well, I was gonna say you mentioned volume 3 earlier, right? So is that or was that a slip?
What?
I think you meant issue 3.
Yes.
I was gonna say, I was like, volume 3. That was a.
Oh no. Earlier, me and Brian, we've already been talking 2, 3, So
it's planned. It's planned.
It's planned.
Yeah, we're really excited about volume 2's story. We're really excited about it, and where the characters, once this arc ends, like where the characters go.
It's gonna be nice. I think people are gonna be like, holy cow, Yeah. But what I was gonna ask, did y'all by any chance did y'all see Hive Comics today? They released a variant issue of Black Cotton number 2.
No.
Oh,
I didn't.
it's only 300 of them. It is phenomenal. Neil Nelson did the artwork, and it's 300 copies and 30 metal.
Oh no! Why did you don't say that?
Oh,
I don't need to hear metal. No,
that's the magic word. That's the magic word that hurts Todd's bank account.
Yes, it is.
He just has this automatic thing where it just takes the money right out.
Yeah.
So when somebody says metal, it just.
I'm telling you, wow, it's a phenomenal cover, and it's. I'll tell you something. I even bought one.
Oh, wow.
The collector, the cosmic collector.
Okay, that's pretty sick. Okay,
It is.
Can you share your screen, or are you trying to save it all to yourself? Make sure you.
No, I'm just gonna buy all of the metal covers.
You can buy them from Todd next week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have some extra.
I only mentioned it because it actually today at 2:00 is when they
went up.
Built it. Yeah. So.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, Neil, man.
The metal is the same as that?
Yes.
Nice.
Red Rain, yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. Man. So we were excited about that, definitely.
Oh boy.
He said, "Oh boy,
It's real great."
He said, "Purchase." Who is Chip? Thanks, Chip.
Metal copy. I don't need a CGSC. No, CGC.
Chip was like done.
Yeah, Chip got the last one. Sorry, Todd.
Oh,
It's a battle.
You shouldn't have shared it until you had yours in there.
Yeah, I should have gotten it in the car.
Hey, that's why I ain't mentioned it until I had bought mine. You know?
Right? I do that all the time.
Smart.
It's like, I copy the thing to go share it somewhere, and it's like, oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me just process the cart. And then there we go. Now everyone else can see this. Uh-huh.
So I want to get the Black Cotton. Once again, I'm sorry I don't have more details, but it's some version of Black Cotton from Scout Comics. We'll get a wheel together. Our wheel guy is not here, Cole. Wheel of Picking says it on here. I don't know what.
Wheel of Picking. Where are you, Cole? Cole, what happened? What happened, Cole?
The picker wheel. That looks sure. That looks like a thing.
Cool. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna pose that question out to your people.
Oh yeah, you had one earlier.
Oh yeah. So everybody in the comments who's still here, put in Black Cotton into the comments, and I'll add you to the thing because it seems appropriate. Black Cotton.
And I'm still not allowed to win, right?
No, Nick, you're not allowed to win. I didn't get a copy. I didn't get a copy of Black Cotton #1. No, I was supposed to, and I didn't. You got a sweet digital one.
I hear I do have a digital copy, and I hear there's a really cool second printing. So it'll be just like the recount where I got the second printing, which is good. That's
fine.
Pretty sweet.
Love the recount.
Second print done by Marcelo Santana, who's over in Brazil. And he's the same one who did the Kia cover. The Kia cover blew me and Brian. The way people just bought it, like in 2 days, it was sold out. People just soaked it up, and they love it. Matter of fact, shoot, I'll show you. Yeah, that's the.
And it's graded. Look at him.
Yeah. Look at him. 9.8.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's the Kia cover. And
did you get it signed though? Is it?
You said yeah.
Because I totally would if it was my book. I'd be like, and it's signed. Send that in.
Anything else would be uncivilized.
Yeah. And then CGC is like, this is unverified. I don't think so.
Can you get me a certificate of authenticity?
Yeah.
Send them a picture of your face. Like, yeah, this guy says it's okay.
That's funny. That's funny.
Quick question for you fans and people, tuning in. Lobo, Crush, Lobo's daughter. I'm wondering, what do y'all think? Is that going to be a hit for DC? We know that her first appearance was in Teen Titans number 20. And then they're coming out in June with the series, Crush and Lobo. So I'm wondering, should I buy that series, or should I just let it go?
Dun, 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 dun.
It might all come down to if, like, 3 years from now they make a movie. It's really, or if there's like a show or anything like that. That seems to be, current market wise at least, that seems to be the thing. Like, did it get optioned, and then everybody freaks out like, oh, Netflix is gonna maybe make a show about this, and then everybody needs to have
and that's I'm right with you, Nick, on that. My biggest issue why I didn't pull the trigger was I really don't like DC that much. I'm a collector, and I'm like, do I really want DC?
Then I would say probably not. Then I don't know that even Lobo is right. Big enough to
shut your mouth.
You think it is?
How dare you?
I didn't say he was a bad character. I'm saying he is the man. I don't think he's. I don't know if he's big enough for collector wise. I might get it just because I like Lobo.
I buy everything I'm gonna buy.
Although it's DC and they keep raising their prices, so I'll be reading it on the DC.
It's only $7.99 for
universe
for 19 pages. That seems like.
Yeah, with an advertisement every other page,
and then the spread in the middle
for books that I'm already pulling. Yeah, it's all advertisements for books I'm already
for
reading.
The event that's finishing up.
Yeah,
well, then, let me ask you:
did you guys read Death Metal?
No. I read a couple issues of that, but I didn't finish it.
It was good.
Yeah,
it's like the tie-in problem. You really just read the main books, and it's a lot. It's a good experience, except for the Lobo tie-in. The Lobo tie-in's the best.
The Lobo tie-in was pretty good.
Yeah. There you go.
So good.
There you go.
What do y'all think they're gonna do with Billy Morales, Spider-Man's sister?
See, I'm not a Marvel guy very much. I'm
behind on Spider-Man.
I've been reading the original Stan Lee Daredevil run. I'm on issue 7, I think now. I was like, I'm gonna read 1 issue of Daredevil and 1 issue of Batman a day, and I'm on issue 7 or 8 of Daredevil, and I'm on 3 of Batman, which is I expected the opposite, but wow. Daredevil is so good.
It is. Look, I agree with you. I was thinking about it last night actually, because I'm reading the new Daredevil. I'm behind.
Zdarsky's?
Zdarsky's, yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's
and
really
it's
good.
So good.
I'm very behind on that.
I'm just going towards the end of volume 2.
Okay.
But it is so good. And what I realized, because I'm also reading Batman, and I'm a Tynion fan. I'm going back to Justice League Dark. Justice League Dark is my jam. Yes, I love Justice League Dark. That's my jam. So, yes. so I realized, man, you know what? I really like reading Daredevil comics, and I almost like reading them more than Batman comics. It's something about Daredevil that I don't know. It might be because he's not. Maybe it's not because he's not Bruce Wayne rich. So I don't know. He just feels really
he's like well off, but he's not.
Yeah,
like,
he's a lawyer.
He's not like untouchable. Like I designed this plane overnight.
I turned this building into a bat plane.
Right. And he doesn't have gadgets like that. You know, it's very like just is street kind of like he's very down to earth.
It's what Batman could have evolved into in Ben.
It's kind of I think it's kind of like a Spider-Man Batman kind of a little bit of a blend there, which you get. I get a lot of Spider-Man vibe from it for sure. But even I mean, it's 1960s, which the Batman I'm reading is 1940s. So I do have a little bit of time jump between, and the Batman issues are like 60 pages long, and they are dense. It's like 4 or 5 stories per issue. So it's a slog. Where Daredevil
coming out, it's got to be a lot.
Yeah, Daredevil's this bright, colorful 20. I mean, they had gotten to the 22-page comic at that point, and it's just funny, and it makes me laugh, and it's really lighthearted, and it's like I was telling my wife about it, who's not into comics, while we were driving for our shots today, and it was like it's just some stuff, I forget what it was, but he had some just ridiculous name for like a microphone in his cane, and it was I just love it. It's so ridiculous. And
phone.
I might have screenshot it. I don't know.
I read a few years back. I read the Andy Diggle run of Daredevil.
Oh, I like Diggle.
So my goodness.
That's what people kept telling me. Is they're like, oh, you got to read the Frank Miller Daredevil. You got to read the Andy Diggle. You got to read Zdarsky. Like, there's all this. It's like there's so many solid runs that I'm like, you know what? I'm hopefully not going anywhere anytime soon. I might as well just start with number 1, and
get it.
Yeah, I'll get to it eventually. I'll just.
and that's where the quintessential Batman runs, I think, mean more to me than the Daredevil ones. But I think there are more quintessential Daredevil runs that you could go off of. Like, I really love Nightfall. That was one of my first comic experience was Batman with comics, and it was Batman Nightfall. So it's a lot for me. And then Court of Owls was like me getting like back into comics like to a larger degree. But outside of that, I can't really think of like, oh, you got to read that other Batman run and do all that. It's like there are quintessential ones, but I think Daredevil is a better long-term read because it's more hotspots along the way.
I don't know what it is about that book. It's just something special happens. Somebody gets that title and they just knock it out of the park. It seems. That's cool.
He's a great character. I mean, he's just a great character, and I feel like he's written. I don't want to say the same, but there's similarities. Like, even though you have different writers, there's something still similar about all those versions that you can still follow. Like, it's just good. Like that. Yeah. I'm definitely a Daredevil fan. Like, I enjoy reading Daredevil books. If I had to pick between the characters, I'm a Batman guy.
No, Batman's a better character.
But right. But at the same time, like, I really enjoy reading Daredevil books. They're good books.
Batman fits into other places better. I think that's also where the success goes well for Batman is you can throw, which DC really leans on nowadays, is Batman can go work with this person. Batman can go work with this person. Good. Batman. And I don't think Daredevil has the same versatility. Right. You just be like, throw Daredevil in it. It'll be great.
Batman is saving the Fortnite Island or something now. He's saving realities now.
Fortnite. Yeah, that's what? He's everywhere. I can't wait for the Minecraft Batman. That'll be great.
Oh, geez, my kids will freak out.
Yeah, go. Unfortunately, if this does really well, we're gonna get way more, many more things like that.
Oh, people think they're sick of Batman now. Just wait.
The only one that I'm really looking forward to is Batman: My Little Pony. That's going to be the one that brings my daughter into the fold for it. It's going to be great. She's going to love Batman Pony.
I would definitely buy the retailer incentive copy of Batman My Little Pony #1. I would definitely buy that 1 out of 50 cover. Be like, all right, Don, I need you to order 50 books of this so that I can get the variant or the incentive cover.
That's funny.
That would be a really interesting book.
It's a really dark and broody Batman pony on the cover. It's
put the bat symbol on the pony.
On the butt. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious. That's Bat and Cat. Only Catwoman's coming with him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Good
Everybody,
idea.
I gotta see Damien with
The whole Bat family as ponies.
Yeah.
Damien is a broody, like angsty little pony.
Oh, it'd be great.
Needs to
That's
happen
funny.
now.
Mhm.
We're gonna see a meme of that. Somebody's gonna do a meme.
So for anybody who hasn't written,
Oh yeah, we gotta spin this wheel.
I'm gonna put Black Cotton in the comments if you're here
Oh, yeah. That's
and
great,
want free books. Do that. I'm gonna give you guys. I have to pee real quick. I'm gonna give you guys a pee break.
We'll go through some of these comments. Well, Todd, I beat Todd even though I drank a lot of water.
I still am telling you, there's no way you drink more water than me.
I might have.
I did 32
I'll have
ounces.
to do a competition. So let's see. Chip says that as for Lobo and Crush won't go anywhere. Just DC lost for place of new character and typing 19 dead. I think. Yeah.
Agree. The day. Yeah.
I said I'm at the place with DC right now that I still want to buy a lot of the #1s if I can and check it out. But I have both the Marvel and the DC digital subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep finding myself, I'm buying so many books that I don't get time to actually like use my digital stuff. Which is why I'm doing the Daredevil and Batman thing, because it's kind of forcing me to do it. So with DC, I'm trying to not pull as many like the full series, but like just grab that #1 just in case, because that's the one that's gonna, if it goes off, that's the one that's gonna be. If I decide to buy back issues later, that's the one that I'm gonna have to really pull out the wallet for. So it's like I'll get that, and then if it goes, I say I'll sell it, but I don't think I've ever sold one of my books. Thankfully, I haven't been into comics near as long as like Todd has, so I only have a couple years on my pile here off screen, but or my stacks rather, and I always say that where it's like, oh, maybe then if this ever gets, but it's like, but it'll just. I don't know. I bought it because I want it and I want to read it, and I'll want to read it if I still have it. It's because I liked it and I'll want to revisit it another time.
Yeah, I just bought Radiant Black.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of looking for it. I want to read that one.
You haven't read that yet?
Huh?
You haven't read that yet?
No.
No,
because I was searching, and doing my collecting thing, and I was like, I need to get this. So I got it, and I'm gonna read it now because I was like, it has a lot of good reviews. Another one that I really want to dive into is Something Is Killing the Children. Because
you haven't gotten into that. You're too late on that.
Yeah. That's optioned, isn't it?
Yeah, it's option, but I think next week if you buy, I have the thing where it's like you get the 8th printing for #1. Right, I think it is. They're like way up there.
Yeah, it's insane. He also has the Department of Truth has been optioned too, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
I got that too. Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah, it's a pretty good twist on that one.
That book is crazy.
Yeah.
But no, Something's Killing the Children's really, really solid book. And I think they're going into like a prequel type arc next that jumps way back in time to establish the main character a bit.
Okay.
House of Slaughter, right? Like yeah. Like the third volume was supposed to be the House of Slaughter and how she became.
Right.
Slaughter, I think. Something like that.
It's
killing the children.
artwork is phenomenal.
Yeah. Were
Zoe, ZOE. He's the one who did.
I just want to point out that just so we know, I actually have a first printing of the #1.
I do too.
You of what?
Of Something Killing the Children.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
That sounded.
4 of them.
4.
Yes, I do.
I'm pretty sure Cole has one. He's not here, but I'm pretty sure he.
Sorry,
has
Cole.
one.
Nope, he doesn't have one. He can't represent. Sorry.
No. Did you get the foil cover though from last local comic book day? Oh. Yeah, that's a cool one.
Yeah, and but I like number 11. That's the one that I bought this weekend. The one with her, and it looks like their kids going around her, and on the top it has the creature. Looks like it's killing. It's done by Zoe, ZOE.
Was that a variant or was that the?
Yeah, it's a variant.
Oh, okay. See that's the only thing that I don't like about that series is that I started buying the variant covers because they were cool, and the first arc had A and B covers, and then the second arc, the B cover was only incentives, and our shop didn't order enough, so my collection I have. Like all variants, and then it's all A covers, and then it's like a couple and it's all just, and it drives me crazy because it's like if I would have known that it's one of the things that switched me to buying mostly A covers now because it's like you never know if they're gonna switch back, and then it just just bothers me. It's that little bit of OCD, like. So actually, my A cover, my #1 first printing is the Frisian. Cover, not the A cover, which is a little disappointing now that it's going to be worth some money probably, but
that one's still worth money, and that's still a really cool cover.
It really is. Yeah, it's actually better than the A cover, I think, because the A cover is just the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it's iconic at this point because of what it became, but Frisen's cover was gorgeous.
Right.
It's just a really great cover.
There it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's just.
And then there was a black and white one too, but that one's pretty nice.
Yeah. All right. So, last chance for anybody gonna pick the wheel. All right. Oh, if I can get it, man. This isn't our normal wheel. It usually has our logo on it, and it's all cool. But
thanks a lot, Cole.
Oh, whatever, man. Abandoning us. All right. So, someone in the chat, tell me how many times to shuffle this.
We should have put the word out that Vern wasn't here, and everyone had a chance to win.
That's true. Good point.
Had a lot more people come on.
I think Zoe's last name is Lachi, Lacchei.
Okay.
And that was number 11.
Yeah, but she's been doing several of the variants.
King Paul gives
Lachi.
Oh, the one I was talking about was number 15. My bad.
Oh,
15?
Yeah.
She did a really cool one for 11 as well.
Right, yeah.
Is there no shuffle?
That's the one I want.
Like the bunny ears with the machete?
Right.
4, 5 shuffles. Here we go.
That one's...
Spin. Oh, it makes noise.
Oh, yes.
Can't really see it. There it goes.
Tarks.
Oh, yeah.
Tarks 9? Tarks 9?
Oh,
Tarks 9.
That's Bob. I know Bob. That's Bob.
Congratulations, Bob.
Hey.
You've won some form of black cotton comic books.
Is dope no matter which way you put it. Whatever version it is, you're gonna be set. So yeah, Bob, hit one of us up on the social medias. You can find those links in the description. And then we will get your information to Scout, who will send out your comics, and then you can post to us about what you get.
Yeah, we would love to. We'd love to find out what you get.
Wow.
He gets 1 through 5.
Hey, like next week.
No.
It's just raw script. It's just
This last one's just Brian writing on pieces of paper.
Yeah, it's just notes. Marvel method notes. It's all just
Hawkins Foreman cut.
yeah.
I'm into it.
That's hilarious.
So stick around still because we have Devil's Dominion.
Yes.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
I haven't read. I don't think I've read 2
Your
yet.
hands on. So get that because 3 is coming out soon. It's got to be.
3's out. 3's out.
3 is out.
3 is out.
So you can get 3 and then catch up.
Mhm.
4 comes out May
4 comes
19th,
out.
I think.
Yeah. Because the one thing with the devil happened in this last one. I don't want to give spoilers away. That covers it.
There you go.
Yeah, that's another one with phenomenal artwork too. Just
And great lettering.
Justin.
Justin
Birch.
Birch.
He's not
Justin,
here right now.
Justin the Birch. No, sometimes he'll put us on mute with like captions or something, and he'll wait for his name, and then he'll pop and be like, "You're talking about me?"
He's got like a filter. A little red light goes off.
Yeah. Justin Birch alert.
It's just a whole bunch of live streams. It's a whole wall of live streams.
It's like the Batman in the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
He has that, but for his name. Yeah.
somebody said my name.
What's funny is say my name is the ringtone for when his name goes off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's great.
Get out of here. That's funny.
Literally give him black con. Congrats. Yes, congrats. Good job, Bob.
Someone said literally give him black cotton.
Yep. Just here you go. Just send him a black shirt.
We could do that.
Good. That we could handle.
It's just a black cotton shirt, just blank,
Nice.
nothing on it, just a Hanes. It's a tagless though. It's tagless. It's nice.
Free
He said
shrunk.
put it on
Free
that.
shrunk. Yeah.
That's funny.
So what we've gotten into a little bit of the big two. One of the things we're always curious about is if you had a run at working on a big two title. We also open it up to 3 because we have had a couple people be like, I don't wanna, which is like, all right, that's cool. So do you have like a property that you would just love to like be a part of and get in on?
Okay, so can I give 2?
No, yeah, sure.
Yeah. But it has to be a crossover.
Ask me across.
Yeah, no,
All right,
for sure. Hit us with 2.
All right, so one thing that I would love to pitch and to work on would be, believe it or not, The Walking Dead. I have this idea where they do an alternate reality where Shane lives, and Rick dies, and
That's a cool
so
one.
and so you just start like the whole series over, like with Shane.
Wow.
And what the differences would be from 1 to 90, whatever. They ended up doing so. I would love. I feel
cool.
like if I started this, I feel like Kirkman probably has already, and that eventually is going to happen.
The next one after the colored version, he's just going to now put out that one, and we're just going to get
Walking Dead what ifs. It'll be a little
and then the
like
next
3 series.
Died.
right. I mean,
What if
so-
Negan
That's a
picks
cool
someone
idea.
else? Yeah.
That's really interesting, especially, or even if it was like a special, like an issue per volume or something like that, where
that'd
you
be cool.
see like the highlights of how it changed with him not doing it. That'd be really cool too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the show for me, like I mean, he was cool in the comics, like 1 through 6, like, and I always felt like, I mean, of course, it's a big moment when he dies, in the comics, but because for me, I feel like in the comics when he died, that really changed. Like that set up the course of what The Walking Dead was going to be, like who Rick was going to be. Like that is the point. So if you change that point in history for The Walking Dead history, can you imagine Shane going against the governor?
Right.
Oh, wait a second. First of all, Shane's not losing his hand.
Right.
Shane's not going to lose his hand.
No.
So, I just think that's what I would go for first. Like, I would love to pitch that, and Kirby like, yeah, let's do that. So that would be my thing.
I mean, there is like new Walking Dead stuff that they've kind of just announced. Seems very like not what if, but almost it's almost more off the wall than that by the looks of things. Where it's just very, very crazy stuff going on with that. I don't know if they're one shots or what they are.
I think issue 75 there was a I think it's 70 or 75. There was a backup story or something like that with the aliens, where the whole zombie virus happened because of aliens. And so what they're going to do, I think, is they're going to do like a what if this summer, where they dive into that storyline where Rick kind of is leading a group against the aliens or something like that. It's out there, but I mean, it's Kirkman.
That's originally what it was going to be. It was going to take this crazy turn, pretty deep into it. It would have been kind of cool. So it'll be interesting to see what comes from that.
If there's any new Walking Dead, I'm grabbing it. It just is.
It just last. So I had saved up. So I bought like so many like issues, and I just didn't have time to read them. Like I would buy them because I just, I'm collecting the run, right? And from maybe like 60 to 70 issues that I hadn't read. So when the pandemic happened, I was like, you know what? I got some time to read this. So I spent like three or 4 months. I went back to issue 100. And I read from 100 to 193 and finally finished it because I didn't finish it. And I refused. I didn't look at any tweets or anything. I did not know how the series, the comic series ended. Didn't know. I avoided it. And so I read 100 to 193, dug out those 60 I hadn't read. Phenomenal. It was one of the best reading experiences I've ever had. That story is incredible. Like, Kirkman. Seriously, like, oh my god!
Yeah, I have a couple singles of like reprints of #1 or something that like the comic shop did and stuff. But so I just have the compendiums, and it's like they're just always on the shelf taunting me because I know if I took the first compendium off the shelf the other day and just kind of sat with it in my lap for a little while, and it was like no, because it's like as soon as I start it, nothing else is getting read. Like, I'm gonna have to like apologies, guys. On Wednesdays, I didn't read any new books. I can't talk about any new stuff because I'm on issue 64, and I'm just lost to the world because it sucks you in like.
It really does.
Very few books do, and especially for a book for as extensive as it is, and for as long of a run as it is, it's pretty solid throughout.
So what's somebody said? Have we asked the most important question of all, Burrito?
Oh, not yet.
Not yet, Andrew.
Not yet. Andrew's trying to get to. He wants to go to bed or something.
That's
He's
for
trying.
The very end. You can catch it on replay. That's for the very end of the interview. Stop trying to skip ahead, man.
What was the other book, Brian? That Walking Dead.
Yeah. So this has actually changed in like the last week or so, maybe 2 weeks. I actually would kind of like to jump on Black Panther behind Coates. That would be so cool with what he's done up to that point. Yeah. So, I mean, that character in itself, I think, if you get a chance to write Black Panther, it's just iconic. It's like writing Batman. It might be like another echelon up from that. It's Black Panther. So yeah.
I mean, fewer people have touched Black Panther as writers than Batman. I mean, it's a smaller group, and it's definitely ends up usually being a more personal story each time, because Batman, you're given a skeleton before you start, and it's like, all right, right around what we want to do and all of that. And you probably get a lot more freedom of movement with Black Panther to get to tell something really awesome.
Right.
I think it shows. I think it shows.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree totally with that. Yes. Yeah.
Patrick, do you have that one book you want your hands on?
I guess if I could, the one, and Brian's gonna smile, Wolverine. I feel that Wolverine has fell off. So I started collecting with Wolverine, and Wolverine was so powerful back in, we're talking, the late 80s and early 90s.
Oh yeah.
And it's like now, I don't know. They're trying, but it just isn't working. So I think they need to go back and I wouldn't say go back to the beginning, but you had the spark at the beginning. So you need to dig back and re-energize people and maybe reintroduce them to Wolverine in a different light. And that would be my whole thing. Bring a whole different light. 'Cause even I don't even think Logan did him justice. It just,
hot take.
Man, my comic books, the value is going down.
Come on, people. I think what hurt Wolverine the most is his powers didn't upgrade.
Yeah.
In the 90s. So in the 80s and 90s, he was fighting like fireworks out of your hands was a big deal then. Like it wasn't. Now you've got like the level of like mutants that keep coming out and coming out. It's gotten to the point where a dude with like a metal skeleton and a healing factor,
I mean,
not the biggest thing in the world, but I love him. Wolverine's amazing. He's just out. I mean, like he's just outclassed now to make it make sense for like him being like the man, he used to be the man.
And the bad part is when you go back and you look at the giants that they kept putting him against. I mean, he fought the Hulk. You got to fight the Hulk. He went against Cable. It was like Sabretooth. Where's Sabretooth?
Sabretooth.
It's like, come on. So,
hey. Hi, Dad. My dad's a huge Wolverine fan.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So,
huge Wolverine.
I need them to do Wolverine justice, just like with Venom. They pissed me off with Venom the first time they brought him in to the Spider-Man story, and I was like, that's a whole movie by itself, Spider-Man and Venom. How do you lump him in with Sandman? And I forgot the other villain they had in the movie. It was like, really?
Oh, and then you have Topher Grace, the scrawniest guy in Hollywood, be Eddie Brock.
Yeah,
that was the worst part. I'm like, what were you thinking? And I do love the meme where it's like, who's the only guy that can make Tobey Maguire seem intimidating? And it's Topher Grace.
Yeah, so that would be my thing.
Nice.
Wolverine was close. Wolverine was on my short list when it was like Daredevil, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and mostly because aside from like Old Man Logan, I haven't read a lot of Wolverine stuff. I haven't read a lot of it, so we'll see. Maybe if I ever get through Daredevil and I need to go through another one.
Yeah, you'll love it from the beginning, because they did it right at the beginning. Then it was almost like they got to a point and they just didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
they're like, okay, let's strip him.
Who can we make him fight now?
Yeah. So yeah, but that would be my thing. What I think that me and Brian are excited about is the future, not just the future of Black Cotton, because the elements that we're going to touch going in the future is going to be exciting, but we're also it's opening doors to other projects that you might see us on, where you're going to be like, wow, these guys are touching on history and they are really going in areas that we didn't see them go into. So I love the fact that people have gravitated to Black Cotton, have saw our vision and actually love it. And hey, wait, this is only the beginning.
Awesome.
That's
No
good news.
pressure. No pressure.
Yeah, right. Speaking of, as soon as you said history, it reminded me of one of my other favorite books going right now, which I think is great with the fact that Black Cotton's coming out and other history of the DC universe.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm assuming Brian, you've read that. Patrick, have you read it?
I have read the first volume one.
The other history of the DC universe.
Oh no, I haven't.
The first issue.
I'm halfway through 3. I'm halfway through issue 3. It's
So
very solid book.
issue 1.
It's solid. Okay.
Oh my goodness! It's
John Ridley.
Other history of the DC universe is essentially all about the token characters from like the early days of the comics and actually giving them the spotlight, telling their stories and origins, giving them a fully fleshed out story that takes like I spend 30 to 45 minutes reading each copy because they give so much room to tell a story, and it's a lot of prose, and
I usually need a full day
readable
to get through it. I take about half a day because I'll get through. It's very dense material, so I'll go through a few pages and then I'll like take a break, and then I'll go through a few pages and then I'll take a break, and it's a pretty great book, and it should be pretty easy to find too.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
I'm looking at it now.
Incredible, and it's some of the best writing going on right now.
Okay.
The stories being told are incredible. I always freak out with a new issue, and it's always number 1 in our picks. Well, in my picks at least. It's always high up in our picks. I'm usually the only one who gets to read it in time for the.
Yeah, so it's never in mine because I haven't read it in time for the show. But
oh my goodness, I highly recommend it. I think I love like stories like Black Cotton and other history of the DC universe, and a lot of these really thought-provoking social change, social injustice, these kind of books are getting like, those are publishers. That's not some guy like printing it out and being like, you should read my comic, and like it's actually being
national spotlight.
Yeah.
And it's a worldwide spotlight, really.
Could you, before we wrap up and all of that, we didn't really talk about your process of getting to Scout and like getting the book out there to actually be made, because that is a journey in and of itself. What was your guys' journey to actually getting to Scout like?
Hey, that's you, Brian. Go ahead and tell that story.
Yeah, so it kind of happened I wouldn't say fast. We were trying to figure out what avenue we were going to take with putting Black Cotton out. And originally, one avenue that we thought was, of course, to self-publish. As we got deeper into the process, and man, I think issue 1 was just about finished, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And I'm pretty tight with the CEO of Scout, with Brendan, and you know, he's cool, down to earth, great guy. And so I decided, I was like, hey, look, Patrick, like, yo, what do you think about pitching Black Cotton to Scout? And he was like, huh. And, you know, we had a conversation about that. And, you know, again, I think, you know, I'm fortunate to be in connection with Brendan. And we just, you know, went on to the guidelines. I actually messaged him first to let him know that, you know, we were thinking about sending over this story and what it was about, and he was all in about wanting to see it, and then we followed the guidelines and sent everything in, and like, you know, maybe 2 weeks later after that, you know, we got the email welcoming us to the family, the Scout family. And then he sent me the message. He was like, hey, did you get the email? I was like, I got the email. And so, you know, and it's been a wrap. It's been a wrap ever since then. You know, they really have embraced us, embraced the story. And, you know, one of the big things that stick out is in that email, it literally said, you know, we want to welcome, you know, you and Black Cotton to the family. And it's been like family. They have really embraced Black Cotton as part of Scout family. And it's pure support, and we honestly love it there. It's great.
Yeah. And the real cool part is they are just as excited about Black Cotton as we are. I mean, it was divulged to us that before Black Cotton was released in February, I think it was in December timeframe, they were Brendan, James, and David were at a conference. They were on a panel or something, but they were all together. And one of the questions they asked them was, hey, what are you excited? You know, what comic book are you excited about that, you know, hasn't been released yet? And all three of them said Black Cotton. They were like, we can't wait till Black Cotton, you know, comes. And it was like, holy cow, you know, we didn't know all of them were like, wait for Black Cotton to drop. But yeah, they're just as excited about Black Cotton as we are. And it truly is a family. It's also awesome to see when they comment on posts, they say Black Cotton too, you know?
That's
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you know, I'm gonna tell y'all, Scout, the next 5 years, keep your eye on Scout. They are true players in the game, and the product that they're putting out, you know, is phenomenal. I have them, you know. I'm like, yo, I need to get these number ones too. Yeah, that Steak. Have y'all read that yet?
Yep. Oh yeah,
man. Yeah,
David.
Yeah, we had David on to talk about that.
We had David on, and then I got 2 signed copies of Steak, and then Steak, just the one shot off story one of it, and it's great. Yeah.
Yes. I got to get mine signed, so I'll trade you one of mine unsigned for one of them.
That seems like a good deal.
But he'll sign the unsigned one for you, Todd.
I can get a Patrick Foreman signed Steak.
Yes.
It's the only one, I bet.
Oddly, no. There's many.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a
lot of them out there. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Look at that one.
I'm gonna grab mine real quick.
That's a great cover.
That
one's cool.
There's the Steak one. Yeah.
Nice.
And then I have the regular one because I get the Scout box. So I also have just the regular.
Yep.
No, that was the normal A cover in that one. That one wasn't one of them that had the variant. But yeah, so I've got 2 Steak ones and then one Steak presents Jessamy.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah. And then I have the A cover. No, Scout is amazing, and everybody definitely should be. We've been trying to put the word out. Which, speaking of, if you did, since you didn't win that, if when second printing comes out and your shop can't get it, if you go to the Scout web store and use Burrito all caps, you'll get 10% off your order, and you can catch up on all of this stuff. And if you're if you really think you can wait, which is a terrible idea, you can also get 10% off the trade if you think you missed the boat already. But you should probably get the singles and then the trade. That's always the best way to do it.
And then a hardcover. And then a hardcover.
Yep. And then make sure to get any metal editions you can get.
Medals,
There is a couple metal black cottons, isn't there? Was there two or just one?
There was they did a number one as well, and I missed that one. That got sold out super quick. That just disappeared.
Yeah, Hive did that.
That's right. Yeah.
Because you did a signing thing with them, right?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
that's right. Yeah.
That was an experience. Yeah, they were.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's all been really cool and incredibly humbling. So I mean, yeah, I'm just excited that Black Cotton is being received as well as it is, and that it has some legs, and that we'll be able to. It looks like we will be able to go into that volume 2. So I'm excited about that next volume.
Yeah.
Really excited about that. Yeah.
Super cool. Dude, that's so like that's so amazing. That's huge. That's like a big deal no matter what book, but then a book like this getting the success and being of the time, and I think going to timestamp kind of like this era a little bit, like it'll be like, oh yeah, 2020 it was all terrible and all of these upheavals, and like Black Cottons can be wrapped into kind of like the history of the time, at least like especially for people in the know and in the comic book things, it just flows, it makes sense, and it's just really cool. And then it's this successful. That's a big deal. That's huge.
It is, and it's humbling. Thank you. Yes,
that's cool.
Yeah, I was looking at. I was like, hold on, that's Magic the Gathering. That was Magic the Gathering's number 1, the hidden cover that I showed. Yeah, this is my state.
There we go. That's dope.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, seriously, guys, it's a big deal. You guys, man, congratulations. I'm so happy that this isn't a book that I'm trying to like beat into people's heads to try to read. Because there's just books like that where you're like, this is huge. Please go read it. Please go read it. And I love that this is like, it's sold out. Read it as soon as you can.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Oh, that's
and this is the one that comes out on the 28th.
Oh man, that's a
that's the second print.
When a second printing has a cover that's like, oh, I need a second printing. That's really
yeah. So I'll tell you something funny. Me and Brian, we really want Regina King to so she has a picture like that on the internet. So we're trying to, subliminally, reach her. And
it's not her, but it's her.
Yeah. Like a few podcasts that we've been on, they've asked a fan casting question. And
oh sure.
Yeah. And so like we've talked about it, like, just joking around, those kind of talks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Regina King is just like, well, I'm a huge Regina King. Like Regina King is it. Like, wow. So like that's the dream. Don't tell my wife. Don't tell my
it's okay. We'll edit it out. Don't worry about it.
Cool. So like when we were like writing, these issues and talking about the characters and everything, like when we were into Jaleesa, it was just like, yo, she just reminds me of Regina King, man, and it's just stuck since then. It's just stuck. And so Patrick, when we had to do that second printing cover, he found a picture of Regina King. And was like, what do you think about this? And I'm like, man, can we just put her on the cover? So so Regina King inspired that pose that's on the second printing for sure.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great
Regina
casting.
King.
Oh man. That's the only problem with fan casting is like, man, I really hope that happens.
He said Regina King. He said Regina King, Black Cotton. Let's get it trending.
Let's get it trending. Yeah.
She opens up her Twitter. Okay. What?
It's like, I don't know what that means. Yeah.
What is Black Cotton?
Why is my name next to Black Cotton? What does this mean?
Somebody asked,
and then she's like, "Oh, cool comment." Why am I on the cover of a comic book?
So should I be getting paid for this?
No. Inspired by.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
No,
But if she wanted to come on, then for sure, yeah.
I mean, we can work it out. I mean,
Yeah.
So I'm going to give everybody a couple minutes to look at that thing on the bottom if you haven't, and did the thing, so I can put you in the wheel. So if you want to take like a minute and tell people about Devil's Dominion.
Yeah.
Sure.
From Black Box Comics.
Devil's Dominion. Man, so from Black Box Comics, I'm fortunate to be the writer on this series. It's a 5-issue series. And it's about a young woman named Devlin St. Paul who sold her soul to the devil in order to escape a horrible family situation. That throughout the 5 issues, you'll get more info on what that was and why she went towards the devil to help her. And so she ends up being empowered by the devil with a demon. And what ends up happening is that demon gives her the power, the strength to break free from her family situation. And so the demonic possession has control over her. She eventually gets control of that demonic power, and now she's using that demonic power for good, to help other people. And so the story picks up there where she's tracking other people, other demon possessed, trying to get them help, kind of taking their sins from them in a sense, their pain and suffering. So that was Dominion.
Nice.
That was Dominion.
I like that. It's not that last part is interesting because I've always thought of it as a helps them fight off the sins or something, but that's interesting. Kent takes them on because she's dealing with. Yeah, that's cool. It's nice.
Cool.
I guess you would know. I like it.
Yeah.
I disagree, Brian.
I think it's more. I think it's more allegorical of. I think it's more allegorical of Dante going through the 9 rings, and that's the.
No, so but one of the major things, and it's in issue 1 and issue 2. I believe, memory serves me correctly, that it's in every issue. Like there's like a there you go. There's a saying, like hell is here, hell is everywhere, hell is in everything, and it's like
ever present.
One idea that I wanted to play with was the idea of heaven and hell being of the mind, and so she realizes. She is really the embodiment of hell because she is demon possessed. But at the same time, yeah, right.
Yep. We're all connected and hell is everywhere.
Right. And so she's she's making a choice to use this hell that's inside of her to do good. Yeah.
Which is a cool concept too.
Devil's Dominion.
Thank you.
I like that a lot.
Layers. The name is. I like the name. It's like there's some layers to the name too, which is cool. I always like that. And then these covers are slick.
Yeah.
And then the interior art is on point. It is
Raphael.
strong showing
Raphael.
of everyone's work. Oh my goodness.
Carolina, and of course Justin. Like, you know, it's such an incredible team that the publisher really put together, and you know, we really dug in and worked hard on. That's one hell of a concept. I see what you did there. Yeah. So, you know, it's hats off to them. You know, I'm fortunate to be a part of that team and helping to bring this Devlin St. Paul character to life. You know, she's one of my favorite characters. I mean, that I've ever written. I love Devlin. I'm excited about
it's a real indie darling book. Just saying, it's one of those things where it's like these are, I think we might see more of you in the future, and I feel like these are all names we're going to be seeing a lot more in the future. And it's going to be one of those books where it's like, oh, they were all working on the same book at one point, because everything is strong in this book.
Yeah,
like So I think there's a reason to get your hands on.
Oh, that's awesome here. Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
So one hell of a concept to one hell of a wheel.
There we go. I saw what you did there.
So let's get this spinning. I was going to say rolling, but it's really a spin. 1 through 5, somebody in the comments, and I'll shuffle it up. 15 seconds later. Play.
Vern didn't get in on this one?
My dad's on there. It says Dad, Vern Reed.
Oh. Oh, there it is. That was upside down for me.
So he's going to win, but what are you going to do? 3. All right. Shuffle. 1, 2, 3. No rigging for my father. Here we go. Even though he wins everything anyways.
Here it is.
Wheel. I'm not even a part of it when he wins. This will be the first time if it happens. They're all going as one dark side.
Bob again.
Bob's
name.
My dad. Congrats, Bob.
There you go, Bob.
Bob is in there.
Nice.
Bob's taking names and taking comics. So before we wrap this up, we do have
that important question yet.
One very important, the most important question. I'm used to throwing it to Cole, so I'm going to throw it to Nick.
Okay, so you have to describe your perfect burrito. It can be something that you're making yourself, or maybe there's a local place down the street that makes just like your burrito, but it's
a deathbed burrito.
It's not like, I'm watching my weight. It's like
people keep going like, well, I can't have red meat anymore, and it's like, no. This is
there's no consequences. There's no there's no heartburn in the morning that you have to worry about.
It is just perfect burrito.
I had to start writing my list then. Wait a second. Burrito.
He pulls over a burrito. Well, it's right here.
Yeah, this was pretty good.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Want me to go first?
Yeah.
I mean,
Brian's got to think about it.
Given your hat, you should have an answer for this.
I am going to take you further south, though, because me and my wife, we love New Orleans, and there's a spot named Felipe's that is downtown New Orleans that we go to a lot, and that's every time we go, That's where we go to get our burritos. But I say that because if this is the burrito of all burritos for me, then it would be in Felipe's. So I'm walking into Felipe's, which also has a bar, on one side.
Here we go.
And it's going to be a super burrito, so extra large with cheese.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to have rice on it. We're going to have corn on it. We're going to have just a little black beans because I want to be healthy too. So,
sure.
So black beans on it. We're going to have, I'm a meat person. Now, my wife, she gets all of that guacamole and, sour cream and stuff on it. I can't do that. But the meat, I'm going to have, I watch Gordon a lot, so, and when we go to Vegas, I always have to get his turducken burger. So I would love to have turducken in my burrito, so definitely put some turducken.
Amazing.
Burrito.
This is our first turducken burrito.
That's definitely the first one that anybody said. We've done a lot of these. That's the first.
Yeah, let me get a strip of turducken. Hey, this is my deathbed burrito.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
This
is fantastic.
You're doing it right.
In it.
You are.
I love salmon, so you know what? Go ahead, put a strip of salmon up in it. One shrimp and one scallop.
One shrimp?
Yeah, one shrimp. Put it up top, and one scallop.
That's like a edible garnish almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then top it off with some lettuce. Fold that joint up, and give it to me. And I'll choose Price. This is my last one.
That might be your last one. If it.
Those are 4 meats. We haven't had any burrito so far. It's all in one.
It's not supposed to be the one that actually kills you, but it's
burrito.
The death burrito. Yeah.
You cut into it, and the steam makes the skull and crossbones.
Yeah.
Oh man.
They put a sticker on it. Your last one.
Yes.
Oh man.
You got to sign a waiver for that one for sure.
Yeah.
One shrimp.
One shrimp.
It reminds me of that movie. Oh man, I'm gonna get you, sucker, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
One rib.
One rib.
Drop.
Oh yeah.
One rib. Oh, you want to order ribs? No. One rib.
I like too how it started with a little bit of black beans to be healthy, and then immediately to turducken.
And turn into Dr. Kevorkian burrito.
Oh man,
amazing!
That's hilarious.
When we go to make all these, because we've talked about this before, doing a cooking segment. Or
I want to have a cookbook.
Yeah,
burrito cookbook.
This will be the most interesting one to put together.
Will be.
All right, Brian, follow that burrito.
I cannot follow that burrito. Mine is way simpler. So it's steak. So chicken. Backstory is I don't eat chicken, and so I love chicken, but I don't eat chicken. I definitely want chicken on my deathbed, 100%. So chicken has to happen.
You can't have guilt on your deathbed.
No, you can't. Steak, chicken, lobster, steak, chicken, lobster, guacamole, sour cream, and cheese. Yeah.
No rice, no beans?
Brown rice. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No beans.
All right.
No. I do like black beans though, but
you don't
I'm
need
not
the
worried about
filler
being
in
healthy right now. Huh?
He wants extra chicken in place. If there's beans in there, it's taking up valuable space.
With one rotisserie chicken on top.
Rotisserie chicken.
I want fried chicken. I want rotisserie chicken. I want grilled chicken.
Every type style of chicken.
Every time.
Yeah.
I want KFC.
Every bite.
Chicken. I want all the chicken.
Popeyes, KFC.
Every
them
bite
all.
is a different style of chicken. It's
Yep.
Exactly.
that
That's
you
what
get
I
to go through. Yeah.
The chicken burrito. And then just
Exactly.
put a tortilla around it.
Yeah.
Just put it in that bowl.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Love it.
You gonna do it like Chris Rock? Just put it in my hand.
So good.
Uh,
Well, thank you guys. We're gonna have you on again because one, we need to talk about this when the volume's all done and I can dig in more. Also, we need to talk about Justice League Dark because that got like blipped and oh my goodness, that's my jam. I love
I'm
Justice.
with you.
It's so good. New 52, like Rebirth. John Constantine is one of my favorite characters of all time. I will always be a sucker for Zatanna. Oh my goodness. And then Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate's one of the people that I keep being like, I want a single story Dr. Fate so bad. I want a Dr. Fate comic.
Yep.
So bad. So yeah. Gotta dig into Justice League.
We gotta talk about that. Yeah.
But
We
yeah,
gotta talk about that.
thanks for getting wrapped up with us, guys.
Yeah.
Good.
Make
Thanks
sure
for having
everybody to go check out all of their stuff, their socials, and the links to Black Cotton are all in the description. Use Burrito code Burrito all caps in the Scout store and get 10% off of it. Oh my goodness. Check these guys out, follow it, and oh my goodness, get your hands on Black Cotton. It's amazing. So yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
I'm
guys.
Todd.
I'm Nick.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Brian. Yeah.
And this has been Comic Burrito. Oh wait, drive through first. And this has been Comic Burrito, a live stream. Thanks, everybody. We love
Thank
you.
you.
Be kind to one another.
Be safe. All
Safe
that
and healthy,
things.
guys.
Yeah.
Bye.